was the best of times, it was the worst of times, and now it's just the god-awful dung in the dumps of times. That's the best and only way to describe it. For years, people have been saying the comic book in North American comic book industry is in serious trouble. It is just going downhill. The crap that is being put out cannot even be considered comics anymore. Every once in a while, you might find one title that is somewhat decent with one or two stories before you know the woke brigade gets their hands on it and starts destroying that too. Not only are the fans fed up of it, but the retailers cannot continue like this. Comic shops are closing at an alarming rate. Even when I look in my own country, Trinidad and Tobago, we don't have people doing comic books type things anymore. There's one shop that I know that has comics in it, but they mainly do Yu-Gi-Oh cards and Magic the Gathering. They just have comic books there for anybody who wants to get. And when I asked about it, the guy who runs it told me that, most people don't even buy it anymore, and if anybody does buy it, they just buy it for the covers. That's it. And I don't mean buying 10, 20 at a time. They buy like one or two and that's it. But here they are putting out dozens of covers that nobody wants to buy and nobody could afford. Well, Phil Boyle, the proprietor of Coliseum of Comics in Orlando, Florida, has he has a couple of comic book shops and all that stuff, and he has come out and made it very clear that not only is this industry in serious trouble, but it is on the brink of collapse, and in like 2 years' time, he's made that statement, in 2 years' time, if nothing is done, it's going to fall apart. This article comes from Bounding Into Comics, and I'm going to read through the whole thing because I want you to get a really good understanding of what he's saying, and as I go along, I'll try to keep my inputs brief, but I will try to get exactly what he's going with. Comic retailer warns industry is on brink of collapse unless major changes enacted. Gee, I wonder why. Starts off, it's nearly 2024 and I'm more than concerned. Marvel and DC, you blew it. Yes, they did. Or maybe you just succeeded in your plan to kill off an American art form of which you've been the able stewards of for 80 years. I actually believe that, I said that before, I believe that Marvel and DC, the people who are with them right now, are intentionally trying to destroy their industry. Continues on, it's baffling that something so prolific was ushered to the chopping block and executed. Strong accusations? No, just the unvarnished truth as new comic sales find new lows. Worse, you've gutted an army of passionate retailers who've worked in this biz for decades for close to poverty wages in many cases. Yes, because I talked about it before, the whole that they came up with the whole comics broke me. They don't pay them much at all. But these comic book writers are the same ones who are out there trying to defend all this woke crap and defend the very industry that treats you like garbage. To put such a system of advocates in every state and major city in America and around much of the world would cost a fortune, but it happened organically to your benefit, and in gratitude, you've strip mined what little profit there was in favor of short-term goals and chasing corporate bonuses. We, the retailers, cultivated the fan base the same way the underappreciated creators created the precious IPs that have made their parent companies obscene amounts of money. It was a biosystem of fans feeding off the Wednesday excitement, eager to spend money on not only the comics that drew them in, but the t-shirts, lunch boxes, and mouse pads with Spider-Man or Batman on them. Fan retailers and creators have all suffered under the recent corporate mandates. When is the last time you were excited to go and pick up any comic book? When is the last time you actually went out and bought a superhero t-shirt? Because I could tell you, just from looking around, from my own observations, people are heavily into manga and anime and stuff right now. I saw somebody with a really badass looking Dragon Ball Z t-shirt. How it when they added on the person wasn't it was Goku in Super Saiyan 2, and then when the person turned, you see it Super Saiyan 3. It was like a kind of one of them images when you look at it in a different direction, it kind of changes. It was really cool. Nobody buys superhero stuff anymore. A friend of mine got a really cool Naruto phone that his girlfriend bought for him. And it actually came in like a giant scroll case, sort of thing, like the one Naruto stole the multi-shadow clone jutsu thing in that kind of scroll case. It was actually really freaking cool, really, really cool. You don't get that with comics anymore because people have just given up. Oh look, Fallen Friend, which didn't last and was just nonsense. Continues on, where did it go off the rails? It's not such a conundrum to anyone with 2 active brain cells. And a list of back issues they need to complete their runs. Comics, first and foremost, have always been entertainment. Well, not anymore. Sure, collectible entertainment which justifies the cost to entertainment ratio. But along the way, the immediate sale and false bolstering of numbers through variant covers, convoluted events, and incessant reboots left the consideration of the fans behind. Oh, very true. Very true. I believe that there was a Fantastic Four comic book at time that had 76 variant covers. 76 variant covers. Who the hell buys that? Why would you buy that? Character swapping, gender bending, and changing sexual orientation of beloved characters fell flat with the Wednesday Warriors who supported the industry for decades. Character swapping is nonsense. Gender bending is nonsense. Sexual orientation is crap. They have to stop it. The crowd of new readers the changes were meant to attract didn't translate to a one-for-one swap, leaving a declining customer base because they don't exist. They're doing these things to appease an audience on Twitter who are just 4 to 5 people with a bunch of bot accounts who will never actually go and spend any money because they literally have none to support anything. That's it. To make things more difficult on the retail side, in a very deliberate abuse of both the FOC system and retailers' goodwill towards publishers, we constantly have to FOC and issue 2 issues out rather than next issue. This makes ordering a guess. Throw in 4 covers on number 5, then 6 on 6. Okay, basically what he's saying here is that, you have to order like 2 issues in advance because you're kind of taking the risk as a retailer thinking that, you know what, this is going to sell. So you need to put in at least 2 to 3 orders beforehand. But in doing so now, you have to know how much you're going to order. Because if you order, let's say, 50 of issue 3, 50 more of issue 4, all of these things, and then it doesn't sell, it's the retailers who have to take that hit. Because fans are walking away because, they're not producing anything good. And then there are the variant covers. How many variant covers do you actually order? So he continues on here. And it's a constant and very deliberate shell game, forcing retailers to guess on nearly every next issue. Because you don't know, you have to guess if this is going to be good or not. How do we fix this? Assuming we can pull the canoe back over the waterfall at this point, A friend of mine recently moved into a condo and took up an advisory position on the board. The pool was in need of repair, the roofs needed replacing, and the facades and landscaping had seen better days. There was no money to make the repairs, and the only solution was to add $150 a month to everyone's condo fees to pay for the repairs. The meeting that followed the announcement was less than friendly, as people complained about the extra costs. My buddy explained that everyone had been living off the equity in the condo and put no money into the condo, thereby devaluing them. Okay? And here we are in the comic industry facing the same conundrum. Yep. Marvel and DC have strip mined the comic industry for the better part of a decade, putting no money into the market that sustained them for years. Very true. Much like the condo association, an investment is needed by those who lived off the equity for years. If you want a market in 2 years, yes, 2 years tops, then the time to invest is now. What we need to revitalize this market. All right. So he goes on. He makes some points here. There are 8 of them. I want to go through each one. 1, $3.99 comics. I would say $2.99. We have increased rents, labor, and insurance costs to cover. So $3.99, $4.99, and more is a non-starter with too many fans. Okay. So he's saying comics should go back to $2.99 at a reasonable cost, because you have to understand. They may say, well, things increase and all that kind of thing. As he said before, Marvel and DC have made billions of dollars. They made a lot of money. And the honest truth is that $4.99 is too much for a comic book to be paid, and most fans don't want to pay that, especially when the quality isn't good. So you need to drop the price down and then start producing quality work, because you have the money to do it. But you just want to talk about the inflation and price going up, and you're raising the price, but the quality is still down. Number 2, fewer covers. I know this will get some pushback from every corner, but without a focus, it's all about the value of the covers and not what's between them. Max of 2 covers. While you're at it, give us a hook to sell, not just another convention. Commission piece with no indication of what's inside the comic it covers. I talked about this earlier in regards to the amount of variant covers that they have, and acting like, it's something to be celebrated about and all this kind of stuff. When you have like 76 variant covers for one comic book, that's too much. I say 2 or 3 variant covers, good enough. Shouldn't be any more than that. Because all you have people doing after is just buying the covers with no interest to what's actually inside the book. Number 3, editors who are editors. Too many stories are lackluster and agenda-driven. Too many covers are sketch-driven with no sale point. And too much interior art is amateurish. It's clear neither Marvel nor DC has a publishing plan beyond the current reboot. Okay, you need actual editors to do things, not people who are just hiring activists to push their agenda. And when you have idiots running the insane asylum, you get insane idiots. That's basically the breaking point of it. Because none of them are interested in doing anything that's actually good. They're just pushing all crap. I mean, look at the X-Men office. They destroyed that brand for years and was sitting there smiling from here to there like they were the best thing since sliced bread. Number 4, the characters are iconic for a reason. The movies never got traction until they leaned into what made the characters decades-long successes. Change is good for story, but inevitably, you need to touch base with what brought them. gender swaps, sexual orientation changes, and outright changes to who's in the suit are short-term headline grabbers, but without long-term sales, with very few exceptions. It's very simple. This one is very simple. Do you think the MCU of today, from phase 4 going forward, if they had put that out 10 years ago, that would have ever worked? People would have literally taken their money and done anything else rather than watching it. The MCU would have never been what it was. The reason it was so good was because they focused on the characters, the stories. That's what they did. Now they're just focusing on garbage, and that's why it keeps failing miserably. Tell stories without proselytizing. I've beat this drum for a decade and more, but here we are, chasing away a large portion of our customer base with every new tale as they want entertainment, not a serialized sermon. People do not want you screaming in their face that everything they've ever done is wrong and only what you're doing is right. And if you don't love it, you're a problem. People don't want that. They find it very insulting, and for good reason, because it is very insulting. Stop preaching to people and just entertainment. There's a reason why they want to get lost in that creative world that you've built. When you want to scream at them and self-input your own crap into it, it's not going to work. Limited new characters. Fresh blood is good, but it's become obvious that characters aren't organic to stories. They're shoehorned in for a bump in sales. Dance with who brung you, as the saying goes. You cannot keep bringing in a bunch of new characters that have absolutely nothing going for them other than just race swap, sexuality swap, or literally out there to preach to people. You have to bring in characters that people actually going to like. If they sit down and think and say, is this character going to be good? How does this character work? Not everything is going to be an actual hit. Things are going to miss, yes, but you have to do it with actually wanting something to actually come out of it. Number 7, I'd ask for minimum advised price, but we're not in that world anymore. You made deals with the devil, which is also on you. Well, they got a burn when you lie down with the devil, try to wake up in hell. Here's an 8. Here's the big one: discount and shipping. Marvel and DC screwed their market. So if you want to continue to have people dumb enough to labor 60 hours a week for poverty wages to sell and advocate for your precious IPs, you need to invest in that market. You strip mined, that word again, though it applies so precisely, all the cash out of the direct market, and retailers are bleeding from the bone. We need your investment or this market goes away. No, you can't just sell online, as the minimum production cost won't be met with online only. Investment means putting books on stands at a cost to you, not the people with the highest per issue count. Yeah, they have to really, sorry, all the money that Marvel and DC have made, they have to really, they have to start putting that back in to the direct market, paying their people a decent wage, understanding that these retailers are going to need help to get these things done, and they need to be the ones to actually push to get it done. Not just sit up there in the ivory tower and act like, well, the little people down there will figure it out eventually. That doesn't work. Actually goes on, actual plan. Set a minimum for each title by store. Every issue over that minimum is sold to brick and mortar retailers for 60 cents. This puts books on stands, minimizes cost to retailers, and helps print runs. Why should you listen to any of this? Because your livelihood is tethered to the retail community. Rome is on fire. Fiddle or get on the phone with some of your key retail partners and find out what it's like out here, but be prepared for some ugly stories. Without some immediate action, I see 25% of the retail stores closing at the end of the first quarter of 2024. Now, I mean, you look at a book like Superman, Son of Kal-El, and it ties into a lot of what he was saying. They decided to make Superman son gay out of nowhere. You understand? It got global acclaim. They were on CNN, they were on the news, but literally everything they were on. And the only time people bought the book was to see them do it, to own the book that DC used to shoot themselves in the foot, and then they just couldn't care less anymore after that. The book was cancelled in like 18 issues. That's it. And they were pushing that as their flagship Superman book. People don't want this crap. People don't want this crap. You understand me? People don't want this crap. White Widow, which is garbage. I don't even know why Wonder Woman's riding a kangaroo here. You understand me? People don't want that crap. People didn't want this crap. And that Ms. Marvel probably should have stayed gone, what no. People don't want this crap. The industry is on the brink of collapse, and everything he has said here is 100% right. And if Marvel and DC don't listen and do something, the industry is finished. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. If you have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it. If you like the video, should hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell to notify every time I put out a new video. And I shall see you all next time. Take care.